meta weapons. And we can start off this tier list just by placing two weapons, one in S tier, one in avoid tier, F tier, just so that we have some kind of a reference. So okay, let's start with the first one right here, and that is the AK. This one is gonna go to the S tier straight up. It is a meta weapon, it is the most powerful assault rifle of them all. You can use it for anything in the darkest days. This includes PvE, PvP, boss fights, whatever, small zombies, whatever you're doing. And yes, by the way, I'm gonna be doing here a little bit of a talk about PvE and PvP usage for different weapons, so yes, you can skip until the end of the video to see this tier list, but I highly recommend that you stick through this because I'm gonna be talking about the different usages depending on PvE, PvP situations. For the F tier, what is gonna be our baseline? Well, it's gonna be this improvised gun. This is technically a shotgun. It has one ammo in the mag by default. Yes, you can increase this by just going for the magazine capacity, and then you can create like a little bit of a weird weapon with let's say a 4 shells in the magazine, but improvised gun is not really used in anything. It's just a F tier shotgun, the worst of the worst. It's a meme weapon, so hey, you know, this is gonna be our baseline, and we're gonna try to put all of the weapons in between. So let's start off with the assault rifles, and before I do anything, so this is the new test that I did today. This is the fresh one, the freshest of them all. Here I compared the DPS of all of the assault rifles that we have, and the only column that you need to focus on is this one, the last one, where you can see the percentages. So AK is gonna be the base. We know that AK has the most DPS. This is our base. We care about the DPS because of the PvE aspect of the game. We want to have as much DPS so that, you know, we can fight the bosses, we can clear all of the small zombies, and the DPS is useful in a PvP scenario as well. So yeah, right here you can see that among all of these assault rifles there is going to be a heavy difference in terms of a DPS, and I'm gonna talk about the M16 later on, so that is gonna be like a special weapon for the end. But right here we can see that all of the assault rifles have around, like, I want to say like 20% less DPS. The one exception right here is gonna be S550, which is a new assault rifle. We got it recently, and it has a little bit more of a DPS compared to the XR15, S4, M4, so on. But yeah, there is a significant difference between AK and other assault rifles. So we can start right here by just ranking M4. So let's find the M4 right here, and this is the M4. I'm gonna put M4 straight up into the good category, and the reason why is M4 is more accurate and it's easier to control compared to the AK. You can use it long range, much more reliably. That is going to help you with the killing zombies, small zombies, you know, we want to shoot them at the head. It's much easier with M4 than AK, and also for the PvP, I feel like that M4 is going to outperform AK in PvP situations because player models are rather small. So if you are having the M4 for yourself, you can use it in a PvP. But the problem with all of these weapons here is we're just focusing on that one meta weapon, and then we're forgetting them all. So this is just for you to know, to remember that that M4 or these alternative assault rifles, they have 20% less of the DPS. That is a major disadvantage in terms of a DPS. But still, M4 feels much easier or much better to just shoot compared to the AK. AK is a complete RNG. If you're fighting a boss that has a big head, a huge hitbox, you do not need accuracy. You can go with the AK, but if you are fighting a smaller zombies, you might be better with M4. So that is something to think about. Next one, we're gonna go to the XR15, and this weapon, XR15, where is it? It's right here. I'm gonna put it straight up into the same tier as M4, and the reason why is on paper, XR15 has a little bit more of a DPS than M4, so focus on this one. And not only that, but I tested
Take your
these
time.
two weapons, M4 and XR15. I shot at the wall multiple times, and I noticed that XR15 has a little bit better recoil control, and because of that a little bit better accuracy. You're gonna be more accurate with the XR15 compared to the M4. Now, personally, I do not like XR15. I remember that I
Good day.
gave this weapon a shot a couple months ago, and I just came to the conclusion that M4 is better. So still, I am debating myself which weapon is better right here, but on paper the XR15 should be better than M4, so let's put it right here. Okay. So these two weapons can be used in a PvP situations for fighting a smaller zombies, but I do not really recommend that anyone brings these weapons to the boss fight. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's go to the next category right here, and we are having here S4 and S550. So these two weapons have one thing in common, and that is 20 bullets in the magazine. So, you know, they are gonna be a little bit different compared to the other assault rifles that have 30 bullets in the mag, but you can see that their DPS is kind of a similar, same to these alternative weapons M4 or XR15. One thing right here we have with S550, we have a slight advantage with the DPS compared to the S-FAR, but the thing is, S-FAR, at least for me, is much easier to control if we are firing. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, I'm talking here about the non-SSR versions, so we're not here talking about the special scopes, a special recoil. I'm just talking about the base weapons, let's say SR grade or rare grade or even normal grade. If you are using these kind of weapons, I feel that S-FAR is gonna be much easier to control, you're gonna be more accurate, yes, you're having less DPS, but yeah, S-FAR and S550 can be used in a PvP situation, just like all of these weapons, okay? With S550, I noticed that there is going to be like a weird recoil to the left, to the right, you know, horizontal recoil that is just gonna kick in and make this weapon not really all that accurate. So I don't really know where to put it. I mean, if we look at the DPS and we just care about it, you know, we can just put both of these weapons into the A category. So these are gonna be good weapons for the PvP, they are gonna be good weapons for killing zombies. They're having, you know, enough of the DPS, but you know, they're not gonna come close to the AK for the sake of a boss fights or anything else. So yeah, AK has this DPS advantage, it has accuracy disadvantage, but in this game we do not really care about accuracy all that much. So you know, this is how the things are looking like. Anyway, there is one more weapon right here that is left, and that is M16. I need to talk about this weapon a little bit because we do not have auto fire mode on this assault rifle. We can only use burst mode and single fire mode. And right here I had a lot of testing with this weapon in particular. I used auto clicker in one test and a manual clicking in the other test. With auto clicker I was much better compared to the manual firing, which is, you know, understandable. You know, cheating is cheating is cheating, right? But the thing is, even if you are using auto clicker, you're not gonna break any record right here. I mean, this is laughable DPS compared to the AK or compared to the other assault rifles. And if you are using a manual clicking, you're gonna be even worse naturally, right? With practice, maybe you can approach this auto clicker performance, maybe. But even if that happens, you're gonna have much less DPS. The one good thing about M16 is you're gonna be very accurate. If you're using single fire mode, you're gonna be very accurate, you're gonna be extremely precise. You're not gonna have these major kicks to the left, to the right, up and down. So recoil on M16 is rather easy to control with the single firing mode, but you will be paying price in terms of a DPS. Another interesting thing about that M16, if you're using it on a single fire mode, you can also use the aim assist. If you're playing on a mobile or even on a PC, you can use and abuse aim assist that we have within the game. Basically every single shot is gonna snap onto the target, and you're just gonna improve your overall hit ratio. So you know, for the PvP, maybe M16 is even the godlike weapon. Maybe it is, but this is where my personal opinion is gonna kick in on the M16, and I'm just gonna put it over here in the unique category. So it's gonna be semi-good. This is like a mid-tier. It's a special weapon, but you know, I cannot really justify to put it in a good tier. I cannot really recommend anyone to go with the M16. With the good category and with meta category, I can recommend you, you know, play with these weapons if you want, upgrade them if you want. You're not gonna make a whole lot of a mistake. At the end of the day, you can use these two categories for the PvP, and you're gonna have a fun time over there. So M16 is gonna stay in the unique category, maybe even in a bad category. I'm just debating like where I wanna put it, but you know, let's just keep it over at the unique category, because like I said, you can at least use and abuse the aim assist feature that we have within this game. So maybe you're gonna be even better with M16 compared to the other weapons, but that is up to you to decide. I'm never gonna take M16 any serious than this. Okay, so we are done with assault rifles. Now we're gonna go to the snipers, and well, guess what? Snipers are the best weapon category in Darkest Days, and the reason why is effective range.
Essentials only.
On snipers, that is 50 meters, so you can shoot at the players or zombies from 50 meters away, and you're gonna receive no damage penalty. With assault rifles, that is 25 meters, with SMGs, that is 15, and with shotguns, that is 10 meters. With pistols, I'm not really sure, I didn't test that one, but snipers are the most versatile weapon out there. And let's just, you know, start with the SPR-12. It really needs to go to the S meta tier. It's probably the best weapon that you can have for yourself for the PvE boss fights. This weapon right here can have up to, or not, or maybe even more than 30% DPS compared to the AK. So with SPR, if you are really good at spam clicking, you can just push that DPS super high for the Dusk Garden, or for even a construction site if you are good at that kind of a boss. I am only good at Dusk Garden, and that's it. So but yeah, SPR has a heavy DPS potential if you get good at spam clicking. You can also use auto clicker, but that technically should be bannable. I cannot really confirm that, I just can say do not use it. I'm only using auto clicker for the sake of testing, and then I just try to get good with single fire or single shooting with weapons. This is what I'm doing. But yeah, if you are bad at single fire shooting with SPR-12, you are still gonna have like 10% more DPS than compared to the AK. And also having this distance fire at far away with the AK, you would need to sit on the edge. Basically like from the Dusk Garden boss. You cannot really hug the wall, so you know there is going to be a little bit of a limitation with the AK. With SPR-12, you're not gonna have that limitation. Okay, let's go on to the next S tier, and that is gonna be the Recon Scout. The Recon Scout is the best sniper in the game for the sake of a PvP. Okay, so Recon Scout is something that we use for PvP only. We do not use it for any kind of a leaderboard pushing for the bosses, because Recon Scout does not really have a DPS. Recon Scout's DPS is like 60% of a AK's DPS, so you are lacking a DPS over there, but in terms of a PvP, one shot is all you need to kill pretty much anyone. If let's say the enemy is overgeared and you cannot kill him in a one body shot, you will need to hit him twice. That's gonna be usually easy job for a Recon Scout. It's a pretty accurate weapon. You have a lot of a distance to work with this weapon, so you know you fire it once, you hit a guy, most likely you're gonna even knock him down, and then you just finish him off with the second shot. But Recon Scout on many occasions can even one-shot people into the body. So yeah, this is just the beauty of a Recon Scout what we have right here, and not only with the Recon Scout, but right here we have SR-700. I'm gonna put it straight up into the into the A category, which means it's a good weapon. It's basically a cheaper version of a Recon Scout. Overall, it's a slightly worse. Well, actually, it's a lot more worse than a Recon Scout. But we use these weapons only for PvP. And in PvP, even though this weapon has like 4 bullets in the mag, it has a long reload time, the damage of SR-700 is very similar to Recon Scout. So if you do not have rubies for a good what do you call it, Recon Scout, you can just go for the SR-700. In PvP, it's gonna be the same, you know, 4 bullets more than enough to kill one guy, even if you start missing, right? And yeah, if you're fighting a guy long range, you can disengage pretty easily reload these 4 bullets and you're back in the fight. So SR700 is a poor man's version of a Recon Scout. But yeah, it's a good weapon. Now, we are here having a... what is this? This is a Judge. Okay, so Judge. Oh man, what do I do with this weapon? I'm gonna put it in a bad category, C category. Okay, the thing with the Judge, it's... again, this is a sniper. It doesn't really have a DPS. You cannot use it in a PvE all that efficiently or in any kind of a way. Like, maybe you can shoot at the zombies. But the problem with all these weapons is you're reloading 1 bullet at a time. You're having such a long reload to just replenish all of these ammo. That problem is non-existent for the SPR, it's non-existent for the Recon Scout. But yeah, you cannot use these kind of weapons for a DPS purpose. You are using it for the sake of fun, PvP. Yes, you can bring Judge into the PvP, it's gonna feel very good as a weapon. But overall, why would you do this? I mean, you already have this SPR-12, which is pretty much like a better version of a Judge. So SR700 is Recon Scout and Judge is SPR-12, just much worse versions. But why is this a discrepancy right here? With SR700, it feels the same, doesn't really matter. You can bring SR700 into the Rootland or into any PvP scenario, it's gonna feel the same as Recon Scout. Yes, reloading, mag size, you know, that is gonna be a little bit different. But with the Judge or with the SPR-12, I feel like at that point the reload speed or magazine capacity plays a huge role. So Judge is not really all that close to the SPR-12. This is why I put it in a bad category. Now, the next one is Brush. This is gonna go into the very bad category. Brush is basically the same as Judge, which means Brush is same as SPR-12, but the thing with Brush is not only that the reload is very long, you do not have a magazine capacity, but also inter-bullet time is a very long, so time between each shot is gonna be very long, it's gonna be very slow weapon. Yes, because of that you might be more accurate, because you're gonna have more time to think, to assess the situation, to aim, but all in all, Brush is just a very slow and very dirty sniper. Still, it's not gonna go into the F tier because it's a sniper, and snipers are just great. You can bring Brush into the PvP. I mean, I used the Brush at the beginning, whenever I started playing Rootland, and Brush did some work for me, so, you know, even though it's a very bad weapon, it can be used in a PvP. You just have better options, basically. Okay? Okay, so now we're gonna go into the SMGs. Oh man, so look, for the SMGs, this is how the things are looking like. Right here we have the AK base damage 100%, we have the Tommy gun that is having the same DPS as AK, and then we have the other SMGs. So look, the thing with the SMGs, I already mentioned that they are a bit more limited. You need to hug your target to do full damage. It's super easy to receive that damage or distance penalty with the SMGs. So, you know, even though Tommy gun is having the same DPS, it's having a better time controlling the recoil because of that better accuracy. It feels just better to use a Tommy gun. Even though that is the case, I feel like in a PvE and PvP that distance plays a huge difference. So I cannot really put a Tommy gun in a S tier. There is no shot that I can put it in a S tier. I'm gonna put it in a good tier, and I'm gonna put it right here, over at the top. So Tommy gun is probably like the best weapon that you can use if you hate how the AK behaves. If you hate the recoil on the AK or the fact that the shots are going left and right, try using the Tommy gun, but you are gonna find out very soon that you really need to be close to the target. That is gonna limit you, especially in the new PvP mode that is Conquest Battle. I noticed that people are usually sitting more than 15 meters away. That is just how the map is made, and at that game mode you're gonna be much better with the AK compared to the Tommy gun. So this is one thing that you need to think about, which weapon is better. Even though they are having the same DPS, they can be used in the same way. You just need to adjust your playstyle a little bit. I'm gonna keep Tommy gun one tier below AK. because yep, AK is just AK is just the best weapon in the game. Like nothing can beat the AK. And okay, I'm missing one more data set right here, and that is Hector. So the thing with the Hector is this is a new SMG. We got it 1 month ago or maybe 2 months ago. And the thing with the Hector is it has a similar DPS to the Tommy gun. So the thing with the Tommy gun, you are having 50 bullets in the mag. You have a lot of bullets. You can just waste a bunch of bullets. In the PvP situation, if you have that opportunity. Remember, do you have that opportunity in a PvP? I don't really know. But yeah, Tommy gun has that advantage of the magazine capacity. You're having more bullets. You're reloading fast. You're reloading slower with the Tommy gun. So yeah, Tommy gun just feels like a machine gun, to be completely honest. It's a little brother of a machine gun. Where Hector has 30 bullets, it's very fast to unload all of these bullets. But all in all, it has 4 to 5% less of a DPS compared to the Tommy gun, so it's very close. I want to say that Hector is more versatile compared to the Tommy gun. Also, it feels that Hector has a better recoil control, so you're gonna be more accurate with the Hector. But that is the problem as a Tommy, as any SMG, and that is just the distance. You need to be close to the target with the Hector. But yeah, just because of how similar it is in terms of DPS, I'm gonna put it on the same level as the Tommy gun. In my opinion, the Tommy gun is still better than the Hector, especially whenever we consider this DPS. It's a significant 1%, 4% more than the Hector. I'm gonna say no to that. But yeah, Hector is going to be a better weapon in PvP. Try to yourself where you want to keep the focus at. Next up is the Uzi. And so look, with the Uzi, I should put the Uzi right here in a bad category. There is only a reason why. Even though Uzi has target is gonna melt. The problem is, can you hit that? Can you be that accurate? You need to hug your target, basically like you're using a shotgun. But it's a unique weapon for the PvP. I would not use it seriously for any PvE situation, even killing the smaller zombies. I would not do it over there. I would just use Uzi for and yeah, just play around the advantage that it has. Think of it as 20 bullets as a one thing that you need to just dump in like 2 seconds, and that's it. Do not think about reloading this weapon, do not think about anything. Your target really needs to die in just a 1 mag. So I'm gonna keep it right here in a unique category. You know, you can use it for a PvP, you can have fun with this weapon. Honestly, it should be in a very bad category if we are just looking at the DPS, but that is not the focus of this. This is, like I said, I'm using a lot of data that I gathered. I'm using this DPS. I'm using a DPS as a main component of a weapon, but that is not the only one. There is also that fun or utility category of each weapon. So this is why Uzi is gonna stay in a unique category with M16. Now, when it comes down to the MPWK, I think it's called, right? It's pretty much the same story as with the Uzi, but it's not gonna be as drastic. So you're having a bit more of the DPS with MPWK compared to the Uzi, okay? But MPWK is not really all that unique, in my opinion. It just doesn't have that same potential of the Uzi, and that is to jump in front of a guy, blast him with the 20 bullets in a split second, and that's it. So MPWK technically is a better weapon than the Uzi, but it's not really all that unique. I'm just gonna keep it right here in the same category as Uzi. Let's call it a unique weapon, but you know, I do not really think that MPWK uh, is gonna be all that interesting to anyone. And also, of course, do not use the MPWK in a PvE situation seriously. Now, let's go back to our list right here. So we have AMP45. The thing with the AMP45, it is lacking a little bit of a DPS compared to the Tommy gun, but it can be used in a PvE, it can be used in a PvP, it has enough of the damage, so you know, it's very close to the Tommy gun. Because of that, I'm gonna keep it in a good category. I know that a lot of people like AMP. I myself, I do not really like it, but I'm just gonna keep it right here in front of the Hector, so it goes Tommy gun, Hector, and then AMP. And then we're gonna have these ARs and sniper. Sniper should be like here, or no, there. Let's go on to the machine gun. So many people like machine guns. I mean, I do not like machine guns myself. The main reason why is whenever you are hip firing with a machine gun, you're gonna be very inaccurate. Your bullets are going everywhere. That means that you need to aim with a machine gun, right? And guess what? Whenever you are aiming with the machine gun, you're gonna be super slow. You have no mobility, and imagine that you need to spend how many seconds just dumping the machine gun mag onto the enemy, and you have no mobility. I do not really like this, but let's go right here and let's check the DPS of the machine gun. MG 240. Look at this. It has a more DPS than a AK, so technically it's better, 10%, 9%, 10% better than the AK. So that's the thing. You can use machine gun better than the AK. You're gonna be less mobile, but just because of that mobility issue or the weapon design, I will need to put it in a A category and just, you know, call it a day. I actually want to put it over here in front of a Tommy gun, simply because of this DPS potential. So you can use the machine gun to fight against the construction site, boss, or even Dusk Garden. The problem is Dusk Garden actually requires a lot of mobility. To just keep yourself safe, you need to move to the left, to the right, all the time while shooting at the boss. So I don't really think that you can use machine gun for a Dusk Garden all that efficiently, but for a construction site there is going to be no problem to just, you know, stand in one spot and shoot at the head of a boss with the machine gun, right? But here's the problem. Why would you do that to yourself when you can just use AK or Tommy gun, Hector? So with the machine gun, you know what? Let's go right here. So it's gonna be actually worse than a okay. It's gonna be better than a Hector, worse than a Tommy gun. This is the position where I wanna put it, and do not ask me too much about it, okay? Okay. Yeah, I do not really like a machine gun, even though on paper it's a good weapon. Anyway, we are now approaching the category that is gonna be just bad. So right here we already covered the good weapons, the meta weapons. We have a couple of, you know, couple of the bad ones on the list, but look at this. A revolver, Glock, F tier, avoid. Actually, this is a Glock, and this is a C1911, I think, 1911. It's gonna go into the very bad. Now I'm gonna talk about these pistols right here. So the thing with the revolver is, okay, you have some damage, but the reload is disgusting. There is no point to use these pistols. I mean, why do you want to use it? If you want damage, go with the sniper and that's it. Like, forget about the pistols. This right here, Glock, is basically a submachine gun that is made single fire, single fire. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you play with these weapons? The same story is with this gun. This should be like a Desert Eagle or something. But basically you're having a small magazine size, you're having a lot of damage per shot, and you're having a, you know, respectably fast reload time. The only reason why I'm putting it up top is it's the best pistol of them all. So that is the only reason why, but honestly it should just go into the avoid category. It makes no sense to play with the pistols in this game, they are just not balanced at all. Okay, we are having here a bunch of shotguns, so okay, let's start with the Alpha 12, it's gonna be easy S tier, and the reason why is that data. So the reason why Alpha 12 is S tier is just its damage potential. So right here we can see that, where is it? Alpha 12, assuming that you're hitting all of the headshots, okay? You're gonna have 30% more DPS compared to the AK, which is amazing DPS increase. Not only that, but you can have the access to the stat called magazine size, which is gonna give you more DPS increase than a simple headshot damage increase. So you are having a better options with stats on which stats you wanna find on your weapon. So right here I did, you know, some calculation, but this is of course assuming that you're hitting all of the headshots. With 8 pellets per shot, you need to hit all of the headshots. That is gonna be impossible for majority of the situations, except boss fights. So you can use Alpha 12 even in Dusk Garden. It's gonna be super complicated to use it over there, okay, I'm not gonna lie. But I did it already once, and you know, it can be used over there. You can use Alpha 12 to fight a construction site boss. Construction site boss has a big head, so you can land all of the 8 pellets into his head to get this kind of an advantage, right? DPS advantage. Combine this with good stats, you can just make Alpha 12 do a bunch of damage, like incredible amount of damage compared to the equivalent AK. The problem with Alpha 12 is you are limited with the distance. You need to be 10 meters away from the target. You need to, like I said, think about the pellet spread. So in a PvP situation, Alpha 12 can be very dangerous if it's used close range and you're not even aiming at the head, you're just aiming at the center of a body mass of a player. So you can delete players with Alpha 12, no problem, but this, just remember, this DPS is assuming that all of the 8 pellets go into the head, okay? I do not use Alpha 12 myself because it's very the only reason why I don't use my own Alpha 12. But all in all, it's a S tier, it's probably the... It's not as broken as SPR 12, and but it's there, you know. If you want any shotgun, go with the Alpha 12. Now, right here we have one shotgun that we already put in a F tier, avoid, complete trash gun, right? I'm gonna take this OK coach gun, I'm gonna put it over at the D tier, very bad. The only reason why is it's basically like a better version of an improvised gun. This weapon right here has a 2 magazine size and it's shooting rather fast. If you want, but also it's doing a little bit less damage than the improvised gun per shot. So if you want to make this weapon work in a PvP, you can do that. You can find the stat that is called magazine size. You can increase the magazine size and you can combine that with the fast fire rate, and you can just blast enemies with OK coach gun. Basically you're creating like a poor man Alpha 12. But at this point, again, the question is, why do you do that when you can just go with the Alpha 12? So that is the only reason why it's sitting in a category above. Okay, now we're gonna have a CS23. CS23 is probably the newest shotgun, if I remember correctly. And this shotgun is gonna sit over here in a B tier, unique. If you're asking me why it's gonna be B tier unique, it's only unique because it has the most damage per shot. So per shot you're gonna do most damage with this kind of a shotgun, but it has a slow, very slow firing speed. So in a PvP you can blast someone close range and maybe potentially one-shot him. But if you do not manage to do that, you're just gonna struggle to fire that secondary shot. I mean, I'm not saying that that the Judge is worse than CS23. In fact, I think that the Judge is more useful than a CS23 overall. But this is, you know, just how we are making this tier list. Okay, right here we have a couple more of the bad shotguns, and that is gonna be this is a Winchester, and this is a SG, or whatever it's called. SG can sit right here with OK, whatever it's called. Basically SG has no damage, it has no magazine size. Winchester, it has some damage, it has some of the magazine size. I mean, they are all bad. Why do I even talk about them? In fact, Winchester can sit right here, I don't care, it's a very bad weapon. Now, these two weapons, okay, this is a SG 550 if I remember, and this is SG 1100. Both of these weapons, they are rather good. I mean, these are like pump shotguns. One is very slow, it does more damage. The other one is very fast, it does less damage. So you can just have a feeling for yourself which one you prefer. But basically, you know, these weapons are the real pump shotguns compared to the other meme shotguns that we have right here in the bottom categories. However, none of these shotguns is going to come any close to the Alpha 12. None of them will. So, okay, this is it. This is the tier list that I have for you. This is my tier list. This has a lot of a bias, opinion, personal preference. And for the end, I just wanna say, I really hope that we're gonna have weapons. I hope that we're gonna have usage for the pistols, that they're gonna be slightly better, that they're gonna make a whole lot of sense. I really hope that the brush is gonna become better sniper just as well. These shotguns, they need to be more powerful. I feel like a shotgun is a shotgun. Come on, we expect from a shotgun to be one shot from a close range. Doesn't matter at what target you're shooting, like a zombie or a player. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the video right here. I yapped here for quite a long time, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna see you in the next one. And if you're asking where are the melee weapons are a complete garbage in this game. They are completely irrelevant. I'm not gonna rank them, but maybe in the next one I could do this if somebody really wants to see a ranking of melee weapons in a Darkest Days. Maybe if somebody really wants that, maybe I can do it. But okay, tell me whatever you think, if you have any suggestions, and yep, I'm gonna just stop yapping and see you in the next one. Okay, take care, bye bye, peace up, peace up. Today's Darkest Days video, we are gonna do a